The winter question: data or gut feeling? The winter question: data or gut feeling? As autumn leaves fall and the air grows crisp, a simple question bubbles up across Europe. Will this winter bring a blanket of snow? For some, the answer is a feeling in their bones, a memory of past winters, an old saying passed down through generations. Intuition is powerful. It feels personal and familiar. But today, another way of knowing is essential: the way of data. At its core, a weather model is a sophisticated computer program, a virtual atmosphere inside a machine. It runs on massive supercomputers, built on the laws of physics and mathematics. It understands how air moves, how heat transfers, and water, as vapor, liquid, and solid. Think of it like a digital recipe for weather, with physics as the main ingredient. First, it initializes, ingesting data from satellites, balloons, buoys, ships, aircraft, and weather stations. Then it steps forward in time, solving equations again and again. The atmosphere is divided into millions of grid boxes. Smaller boxes reveal more detail. But our measurements are incomplete, especially over oceans and polar regions. So the best models run ensembles, many simulations with tiny tweaks. When runs cluster, confidence rises. When they diverge, uncertainty grows. In long-range forecasting, two names stand out: ECMWF and the UKMO. ECMWF, the European Centre for Medium-Range Weather Forecasts, with operations in Reading, England, and Bologna, Italy. It blends vast global data with powerful supercomputers to produce high-resolution guidance. An ensemble of 51 runs captures the range of outcomes, turning forecasts into probabilities. The UKMO model is likewise world-class, respected for skill and innovation. Forecasters compare them, seeking both agreement and differences to refine risk. Think of two master chefs, similar recipes, slightly different techniques, both excellent, not identical. Small model differences can amplify weeks or months ahead. That is why experts never rely on a single model. They synthesize across systems. Now, what shapes Europe's winter, and where the models agree or diverge? To read a winter forecast, first understand the major forces at play. 5 key drivers shape Europe's cold and snow. First, the jet stream, a fast river of air high above, steering our weather. When it runs straight and strong to the north, Western Europe turns mild, wet, and windy. When it buckles south, it opens the door for Arctic cold to pour in. Second, ocean temperatures. The Atlantic acts like a thermal battery. Warmer than average seas tend to favor milder conditions in the west. Ocean patterns influence jet position and strength, a seasonal feedback loop. Third, the Arctic and its polar vortex. Strong means cold stays locked up. Weak can spill cold south. A disruption can split the vortex, sending lobes of intense cold into Europe. Fourth, blocking highs, stationary pressure systems that reroute the jet and shut out Atlantic air. A block over Scandinavia can funnel Siberian air westward, driving prolonged cold and snow. Fifth, the source of the cold. Ocean-fed Arctic air can be snowy. Siberian air is drier but brutally cold. Even Siberian air can turn snowy if it crosses moisture, the North or Baltic Sea. To get winter right, models must predict all 5: jet, ocean, Arctic, blocking, and air mass sources. Even excellent models differ, but they often agree on the big picture. For winter 2025-2026, both show consistent signals. Warmer than average North Atlantic waters, a buffer against deep, sustained Western European cold. Ensemble means tilt milder than average, especially in Western and Southwestern Europe. A milder season can still include a very cold week or two. Both lean toward a strong early-season polar vortex, reducing major December cold outbreaks. Precipitation near or slightly above average in parts of the north, consistent with an active Atlantic jet. Key divergences: timing and probability of a midwinter pattern change. ECMWF may raise odds of a late January or February weakening of the polar vortex, opening colder episodes. UKMO could keep the vortex stronger for longer, delaying or dulling cold snaps. Blocks near Scandinavia favor easterly cold. Atlantic blocks are calmer and drier, not necessarily frigid. They also differ on how far cold reaches, from Eastern Europe only to deeper pushes into Germany, France, or the UK. A 30% versus 15% chance for a severe cold week can mean action now versus wait and see for planners. Uncertainty is not failure. It is an honest measure of what we know and do not. The atmosphere is a complex, chaotic system. tiny initial differences can grow into big changes weeks later. The butterfly effect. Like rolling dice, you cannot guarantee the outcome, but you can compute the odds. Ensembles map likely possibilities and assign probabilities. Certainty declines with time. Tomorrow is high confidence, next season much less so. A sudden stratospheric warming can flip the script, as during 2018's Beast from the East. Forecast busts teach us, improving models and how we communicate risk. A forecast is a guide, not a guarantee. That is why perfect prediction is impossible. For households, cold means higher heating use and costs. If cold snaps are more likely, check insulation, service heating, and budget accordingly. Milder winters can mean more damp wind and rain. Cities use forecasts to stock salt, ready plows, and staff crews. Snow shuts airports, ice slows trains, roads turn treacherous. Businesses watch risk to avoid costly delays. Frost can damage crops. Ski resorts depend on cold and snow. Winter risk touches daily life. Preparation turns surprises into manageable events. After the models, drivers, and uncertainties, what is the smart takeaway? Expect variability, swings rather than a single story. Consensus suggests winter 2025-2026 leans milder overall, especially in the west. A warm Atlantic favors Atlantic-driven mild spells. But pathways exist for episodes of cold and snow, particularly later in the season. Risk is higher in Eastern and Northern Europe. Your location matters. Use forecasts as a risk guide. Stay informed and prepare for a range of outcomes. That is the outlook. Balanced, informed, and ready for whatever winter brings.